Thunderclouds, dark and heavy, cover the sky. They are moving and swirling faster than they should be able to, called and compelled by the powers that be on the ground. To you, the world is black and white, like a fading memory drawn from ink and smoke. Everything just very subtly kind of swirling and changing. You look forward and you see Athera, chokes for a second, catches her breath, gasps, her eyes staring miles off before they snap back to focus on the lifeless corpse in front of her. Blood trickles between the cracks of armor covering the snow underneath. She desperately moves her hands over to the body and tries to cast Cure Wounds, this green light pulsing into the body, attempting to save it. And the magic lands, but no life returns. Almost silently, the skin underneath the armor is stitched and weaved together. But your corpse still lies there. Athera turns to the figure behind her, Avant, his body now standing over 8 feet tall, his blonde hair billowing in the winds of his storm. She says to him, "I don't care about you or your god's system. You were all just overpowered hypocrites, taking lives for your own biases and your own needs without thought." Athera, normally so quiet, so reserved, speaks with a uncharacteristic strength, this anger. She points a finger at Avant. She says, "I don't care what you do to me. I will never give you the information that you want." Her voice begins to falter a little bit. "And even less likely now that you've taken affront. I have no words for the kind of evil you are." Avant's sword disappears from his hand. His fight is over. But Athera begins to grab both of the returning stones laid out on the ground beside you. But Avant moves his hand, a wave of magic tightening around Athera, holding her in place, paralyzed. He walks forward and kind of kneels down, looking at her face. And he says, "There is no corner of this earth that will hide you from me. I did not want this." And then as he stands up again, these large, beautiful wings, perfect white feathers, sprout from his back. His body enlarges again. He's got to be 10 feet tall. And in a boom of thunder, he flies at an inhuman speed, the snow picking up from the wave of air that he left behind him. And he travels west, towards Earliness. Zach. Or sorries.
Mm-hmm.
Athera wipes the tears from her eyes. She grabs your shield, and she sees a powerful blue light flickering and fading. Names: Kata, Beatrice, Lucian, Gwen, Leo, Ava, Dahlia. She knows they're in danger. She takes the returning stones, uses them both, teleporting you and her back to the school, your bodies crumbling to dust and reappearing miles and miles beyond. But from your perception, the scene around you slowly melts like ink dripping on a page, and it shifts and moves, turning into this swirling mass of gray and white until it rearranges itself into a very familiar and comforting setting. You look around and you see the plaza at Uralumis. Over your body stands a few of your friends. Ava's gone. Gwen and Dahlia are quickly getting ready to leave. But standing over you is Leo, Athera, and Lucian. Leo calls over to Athera. He asks for a diamond from her bag, and she fumbles for a second, still shocked from watching you die. But she produces one and tosses it to him. He grabs it, closes his eyes in prayer. You see a blue light starting to appear, a couple of sparks beginning to circulate around his hand. But just as his prayer begins to start and you see the power culminating in the palm of his hand, everything around you slows down until it halts to a stop. The world is completely paused. Time is frozen. A faint, almost static-like fuzz covers everything and everyone around you, almost like everything's not quite in focus until you look directly at it. To your left, just a few feet, you see a strange light. This needle-thin, piercing white light, almost like a tear in reality, slowly rising into the air in a swirling pattern. And it begins to grow and blossom. And as it expands, you see it takes the form of a tree, large enough for you to walk in. It's hard to make out the details with it being so bright and so vivid, but every fiber of your being can feel it pulling towards you, calling to you.
I guess I'd take probably just one more look back at the group, especially Leo and Athera as they're trying to help me, and kind of shake my shoulders and go, well, guess I only got one choice. And I'll just start walking towards it, whatever this is, and not expecting much. Didn't live the best life, but I lived a life.
Will you give me a religion check?
Dirty 20.
Love to see it. You don't know much about what the afterlife has in store for you, but you've read plenty of books about what it might have in store. Plenty of people speculate. Plenty of people give their 2 cents and theorize about what comes after. In this moment, you are still here. You feel this tree call to you, and you take a step towards it, but you know you have a choice. You could stay. As a matter of fact, you are capable of healing. You know how the system works. Sometimes people who die can be brought back. But sometimes, though the spell seems to work perfectly, resurrecting someone who should be allowed resurrection simply fails. Okay. You feel that your time is up. Time is paused. You see your body over there, lifeless. Leo is starting to cast the spell, but he just didn't make it in time. Revivify is not going to work. Something more powerful could, sure. But if you step through that gate, that tree there, you don't think it will. So the choice is yours, but I think I know you pretty well. You step through there, you're at peace. It's calm, okay. It's inviting, it's warm. But then you have no hope of seeing your oath through to your friends.
Yeah, I think at that moment, kind of piecing those things together, the last thing I saw was the names on my shield continuing to light up as long as they could until my magic had gone through. Mm-hmm. And knowing that Avant's on his way, and that all but 2 of the people that I care about are probably at the school right now, I would probably just take off my dread helm if I'm still wearing it. I don't know how incorporeal things work, but just take off my helmet, go squat next to my body, and kind of just try to encourage everyone, even if the spell doesn't work, just hoping to give them encouragement, continue doing what they should do, even if I'm gone.
You kneel beside your body, and your friends as well. You speak some words of encouragement, but you know they can't hear it. Not only are you a little too far gone past the veil for that, but with time being stuck where it is and you being forced to make this choice, those words are more for you than they are for them. You definitely hope they continue. You definitely hope they find some sort of fight to keep going. But you can't be for certain.
Can't be certain about anything. Who cares?
As you're sitting here, taking your time, not quite making a choice yet, speaking to your friends, will you give me a perception check?
This I'm great.
I bet.
That's a 7. I add 0 to that, so
You don't see it because it's almost impossible to see, but you feel it. Somewhere nearby, something is watching. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up and you feel your senses perk up, but you don't know what it is.
question. I died with detect good and evil. Would I get anything from that? I don't know how many. I'm dead.
I will allow it to be a yes. It is quickly fading, but I'll allow it to be a yes. But I want you to specify something to me. Whatever this thing is here, what do you want to know about it? Do you want to know if, as the spell's title suggests, if it is good or if it is evil? Or do you want to try to detect, like normally, that divine versus fiendish versus fey, like sources of power?
At this point, I don't really. I've just seen an angel kill me. I don't know that I care who it is. I care more about it, kind of like its moral alignment. So I guess like is it good or is it evil? Especially if it's evil and it's near my friends in their time stop or whatever this is.
Going purely on alignment, I'm not quite sure how to articulate this, but it's really easy in that binary system of good and evil to just skew one way or the other intensely. However, the feeling you get is an incredibly powerful neutral. And most of the time, that's a boring answer. But for you, detecting this right here and right now, it is the strongest presence of a neutrality that you've ever felt. It's stronger than the presence of Avant that you just detected. You've heard of the God of Death before. No two stories the exact same. But you stand up and look around, and across the courtyard you see a couple of shadows starting to congeal. Just a little cloud of smoke. Barely perceptible, kind of wispy.
I guess I'll just pick up my helmet and kind of it looks like she's getting ready to appear or is like that's where she's going to appear, I'll just kind of walk over and plant myself beside it and kind of wait for whatever conversation she has. Especially being true neutral, I don't know that I feel threatened by it because it's supposed to be like the calm presence of death. So it's more like I'm waiting for the inevitable to appear.
Yeah.
So there's no point in being afraid. There's no point in being excited. It just is.
You take a single step closer and you watch as the shadow grows in visibility. It condenses a little bit, growing in size and in your ability to perceive it. With every step you take, it gets more and more tangible, more and more real. And as you take the final step towards it, as it solidifies into a form, I would like to know who out of everyone that you know who is dead did Rosari's love the most?
Valgaroth is not dead.
No, he's not.
Oh wait. No. Who is the smith from the Church of Cortatus? Idris?
Yeah, Idris.
Idris Moni.
Moni. That's right, because we thought it was money.
Yeah.
You approach this figure, and as it congeals and solidifies into a form, eventually you start noticing bits and pieces of the face. But with Idris, that is not the thing that is most prominent about him. It is the scrapped together clothing and armor, It's the strange spikes that have no purpose on some of his shoulder plates, purely for aesthetics. You approach, and this figure takes the form of Idris. I'll ask you, does Idris still look down at you, or is Rosari's taller now?
I think I finally hit a growth spurt to where like, it's kind of like you and me, just barely. It's not perceptible unless you're specifically going back.
You approach, and to the naked eye, purely eye level. But you approach Idris, and this form takes his face. It takes his voice, even. And Idris looks at you and he says, "It's time."
Look, if you're gonna come and talk to me, can you take whatever form you want other than someone I care about?
What form would you like me to take?
You can be a generic dragonborn for all I care. You're not gonna convince me to do whatever you want just by being a friend.
The form shifts, and almost like smoke whips around it as it morphs and changes, and then it solidifies again, standing a few inches taller. It looks down at you, and no check needed. Your best guess is this is Gwen in 15 years, when she's a full-blown adult. Looks down at you, and with a very familiar, bubbly, light voice and a polite smile, she says, "Is this better?"
No, but we can go with it.
Whatever makes you comfortable. But like I said, it is time. You got a
Time for what?
choice in front of you. You can stay or you can go. I'm just here to make it easier.
Well, what do you think? You think they can pull it off? Now turn and look at him as Leo's fumbling through that spell.
She looks, and you see that the smile slowly fades, kind of becomes a soft, neutral look. She says, "I would love to answer that, but I thought the same thing about you, so I don't think that my opinion matters much here."
What? What'd you think I could pull off?
I certainly thought that you wouldn't come to me this early.
You clearly were not watching very much then. Do you watch a lot of mortals, or just the ones that send you a lot of applicants?
Mostly those who send me souls to be guided. I try not to spend my time simply perceiving life. My job is to usher it to something new.
That's fair.
But,
If you're gonna
Avant,
make me choose, I'm staying. But what about Avant? He's interesting. I like him.
you mentioned those who send me a lot of applicants. Avant is certainly on that list, so though you are new to me, I know you well, but I had hoped that you would exceed meeting him.
Yeah, I don't know if there's fate in this world or if we truly have free will, but as soon as I met Leo, I don't think we had much of a choice. Or at least there wasn't an option. I'm going to continue to stick to who I am. So,
Humans are given free will, that much is true, but it is a blessing and a curse that people like you, seem to remove from themselves. Avant took advantage of that, and it brought you to your demise. But you are left once again with a choice. And again, restricted by your own virtues and ideals. You think that there is no choice, there is simply one. But you do have the ability to choose. Now, those choices come with consequences. If you leave now, I can't tell you what's on the other side. Hopefully it is good. If you have led a good life, I'm sure someone will accept you. But staying...
Don't think I'm going to Cortez's. Probably not.
Staying... Now that is a choice. Do you know what happens to souls who stay on the material world?
I know you can get revived, because that's what they're trying to do right now. But I've fought a few undead, and I'm going to assume that it's something like that.
It is. Souls that are left and forgotten slowly become corrupt and twisted. Just as a man in isolation in a prison will slowly be driven mad. No one can hear them, no one can see them, until eventually their will manifests, but by that time they're too gone. We can spend as much time here as you'd like. If you need time to process before making this decision, that is okay. But it sounds like you have already made it.
Yeah. Come at it from, logical perspective, which I'm sure you love to hear. Sounds like the stronger your will is, the longer it takes to get corrupted and become undead. So I guess the question is, can my will last long enough for them to figure out a way to get me back? And I've been told I'm the most stubborn person anybody's ever met.
I would not doubt it.
So I think I'm going to go ahead and restrict my free will.
Your friends are certainly on the path to grow them to the level they need to be to bring you back. I do not think you would falter and succumb to madness by then.
This sounds like there's a but coming.
But I fear that the path you guys have been set on, your group, your friends, is heavily intertwined with the path that Avant seeks, and you will meet him again. And if your friends stand with you and do not leave next time, I'm sure you can imagine what will happen.
I sure can. I can also imagine what would happen if I'm not there at all. You'll be guiding someone else. Let's be honest, it'll probably be Leo.
Ava does seem to severely dislike him.
That's true. She might offer him as a sacrifice. You really are interested in a party, aren't you?
You're an interesting group.
Yeah, we're oddballs. Did Baron talk to you about us?
He did. He had so many questions.
Yeah, he probably grilled you a lot more than I did. He's probably happy there's multiple planes of existence, so I'm assuming... Is this a different plane? I assumed it was. This is weird. Maybe I'm a little bit too much like Baron.
Is that such a bad thing?
No, except I'm a paladin, not a wizard.
A curious mind is never something to be ashamed of.
I didn't say I was ashamed of it. I'm quite content. In case you can't tell, I'm just making small talk because I'm nervous. Which is weird for a paladin.
The form shifts again, clearly you not quite feeling emotionally connected to this random dragonborn. And it shortens down just a little bit again until you see the smoke congeal and solidify until you are staring back at your own face.
Question. When I'm looking at my own face, does it feel like the vision of when I broke my oath, or is it different this time?
This is different because the vision of you breaking your oath felt like you.
My own.
This is not you. This is merely something adopting your shape.
Okay, cool.
But this thing, this person, looks back at you and says, "You brought up an interesting point about people sending me many applicants. Avant has sent me too many. There is a balance to this world that he has deeply disturbed. And if you choose to stay, I hope that you do get brought back. And I hope that even if there's a sliver of a chance, you do bring balance back once again. You two are pitted against each other on two opposing sides."
And if I get brought back, I can promise you this. Then he's not gonna lay a finger on a singular hair of his friends until he can cut that hand off.
Do not doubt it.
It might take me a while. Probably a good long while. But fortunately, I don't know what I'll go back to. I'm assuming being a goddess and all, you kind of are semi-omnipotent. I don't know how that stuff works. Y'all are weird. No offense.
You say the word goddess, and the figure almost looks like it stifles a laugh, finding some amusement in that phrase.
No, not a goddess. Are you not Uede?
I've had plenty of names, sure. People manifest me to look however they want.
So are you manifesting right now how I want?
I manifest in the form for the person to take the most comfort in their passing.
So what do you want to be called? Did you have a name before someone gave you one?
I did. It is long gone and not my own anymore.
That's somewhat depressing.
It is. That's why I'm here. That's why you are here. But that is ancient history. I will not bend your ear to tell a tale you have no true desire to hear.
I wouldn't say no true desire, but I also don't want to keep you here for a millennia.
We have all the time in the world. And you see the pale imitation of yourself look around at the frozen world around you. A couple of birds stuck in the air, just a little, almost like a vibrating air around them where they should be moving, but they're stuck. We can take as much time as you need. I know that choosing to stay, choosing to go, both of which are heavy decisions, and sometimes it takes a lot of thought. But your 60 seconds is up, and you can see no more of this life unless you choose to stay permanently.
If I give my answer now, will you still stick around for just a minute so we can talk? Might as well have a conversation partner while I'm stuck for half of eternity.
For as long as I am here, time will not pass. But if you have questions, I may be able to answer them.
Am I allowed to ask if specific people have or are about to die? Do you know that? Am I allowed to know that?
I will give you 3.
If I give you a name, can you tell me if their parents are alive or a sibling?
I can.
Lucian's sister. Is she alive?
I have not seen her. But she is not here. If she
Long gone? Different?
has died, it was somewhere beyond my scope.
Gonna pen whatever question I'm coming up with for that later. If you know my brother Arthur, he's looking for his parents. Have you seen them?
If you ask for both parents, that's the last 2 of your questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's one question. Have you
people.
seen his dad?
I have not.
Well, that's good, I think. Well, is Kata still alive?
Yes, her sister is still alive.
Cool. Do you have any questions for me? I asked 3, you can ask 3.
The figure gives a light smile and kind of walks back towards your body and motions, and you guys sit on the ground a few feet away, looking over towards where Leo is still, hands clasped in prayer over your body. The figure doesn't look at you, but it does ask you 3 questions. First, it asks, if Leo had made it in time, would you have continued pursuing Avant?
Immediately? No. I don't feel like wasting enough diamonds to fund a full kingdom.
Even if Avant was heading towards the school and threatening to kill everyone?
Maybe together we could all do it, but I would hope we could get everybody out.
Next question. From your knowledges of the gods and what they've done for this world, what purpose does a god of death serve? You have the sun, the creator, the moon, the earth itself, the source of life. But what purpose does death serve? Why would anyone seek such a domain?
Why would anyone seek? Well, either the gods can die, or you're newer than the rest, and when they created mortals who can die, someone had to fill that spot. I like the first idea.
I am both newer and older.
That makes almost somewhat sense.
My name is far older than my domain, but it is a name that I will not say.
Something they uttered in fear before your domain existed. Huh.
Why would a god of death exist?
Because all things are going to die, and someone has to control that semi-existence, or be the one who leads all things and all beings.
The figure leans back on its arms, almost relaxing a little bit, kind of enjoying the conversation, it seems. Not many are keen to talk to the figure of death. But it smiles a little bit, looking up at the sky. You can't feel it, but the sun beaming down, a couple of clouds passing over. And it says, well, you say all things must die, but at one point that wasn't the case. You've read plenty of books, you know.
Piranum.
And before Piranum, I didn't exist.
But your name was uttered.
Give me I'll let you choose insight or perception check.
If I get to choose, it's insight. It's a +6 or a +0. Yeah, 24. I need to start rolling these dice more.
Oh my god. So you said insight.
Insight, yeah. I'm insight checking death. This is sick.
A name that was uttered long ago. A name older than death itself. A name that it no longer has. A name you can't quite place. You're thinking. Death is hard to read. You lean back, matching the pose, looking up into the sky. And your eyes look at the sun. And for the first time, it's not blinding. In this weird black and white, time-frozen world, you look up and you see the ball of light. It's still bright. It's still very illuminous. But it doesn't hurt to look at it. You're not quite sure how death feels. Everything about them is masked, literally taking your form. But something about them speaking about this name sounds like it is something they miss. Something that they did in fact lose, but that they didn't want to. Turns back, looks at you, and it says, I have one more question, right?
Sure. Sounds like a deal.
You seem very keen on protecting your friends. That seems like the thing that you have dedicated your life to the most.
Yeah.
And looking back through your time, you have had issues balancing that with any other commands. That seems to be your first and foremost priority.
I would agree.
If one of your friends were here in this position, and they chose to stay, and they were not revived, and they became one who lives in death, would you be willing to put their soul to rest, knowing that they will never reach an afterlife, they will never be resurrected, but if nothing else, they will find peace?
It would suck, but if they're an undead, then they could hurt people. And as much as I owe them that, I've already failed them once. I don't want to fail them again.
The figure beside you leans forward a little bit, kind of brings their knees up, sits their chin upon their hands, and says, we agreed to 3 questions each, but I have another. It would be rude of me to ask it without allowing you one first.
Can I call you by the name that you wish was never forgotten?
The figure smiles at you a little bit, seeing the intention behind your question, but clearly something is going over your head and they know it. They look at you and they say, you cannot. Not only because I do not wish you to. It is no longer mine to be called, but it is far from forgotten.
Okay. I say nothing. All I'll say now is whatever answer you want.
I will first give you information, and then I will ask you a question. The name, every time it is spoken, empowers the one who owns it. That is the birthright of gods. It is not that I do not wish for you or others to know this information, but it is in the past and we cannot change it, nor can we fix the future to a single unified point. Everything is changing. And as much as I have predicted about the future, I think that I am allowed a single change to hopefully right the wrongs that Avant has done. So my question to you, I do not break my own rules, but I can bend them. Figure looks down at Leo, seeing his hands clasped in prayer, just a little bit of lightning stuck in time. What is 61 seconds in the grand scheme of things? I don't think that's going to change much, but for you, it can change a lot.
It definitely could.
I will not break my rules a second time. But if you were to add something to your list of priorities, I know you protect your friends above all else, and I will not ask you not to, but you have admitted that if your friends were to turn undead, you would end their suffering and send their souls to a peaceful oblivion.
Yes.
And if you are willing to do that, and your second highest priority is following a simple command of mine, I can give you that 1 second that you need. There is a weapon, one not of this world, similar to the one that you wield now. It lies far in the north, buried in the cold. This weapon has the capability of destroying the soul of the target that you kill it with. I want you to find this weapon. I want you to rid this world of those who break my rules, who break mortality. And when you are done, and when undeath no longer plagues the world, you will turn that blade upon yourself.
If I'm going to go back as an undead, then yes, because you said it yourself. The longer I live, the more insane I'll become, the more danger I'll be. And as much as I like to keep my friends close, they'll be in danger.
Because you will still be tied to your soul, I can promise that you will not go mad. But time is a plague on the mortal mind. You will forget, you will change. At one point, you will no longer be yourself. But if your desire to protect your friends is that strong, it is your first and foremost priority, then I think that will remain.
If it lets me get Avant and make sure that he can't hurt anybody else, then I'll do it.
At this point, the figure that looks like you stands up and adjusts itself. The smoke reappears, and then the form gets much taller. You see a large, imposing, nearly 13-foot figure towering above you. It's hard to see the facial features from here, but there is long, thick hair pulled back over the shoulders and down the back. The face, bright and imposing, 7 eyes placed around the face. And it looks down, and it gives you a very soft smile. Then it holds its hand up and pushes it forward, and you watch as time unfreezes and skips a moment ahead. And you look and you see Leo's hands placed on your chest, lightning arcing over your body as it convulses up off the ground. The figure looks down at you and it says, "You have a choice." It motions to your body, and it motions over to the tree.
Can I walk up? Like, I'm not going to walk towards the tree, but like up to her and just reach out my hand to shake her hand. I feel like nobody's thanked her personally for anything before, so I just want to walk up and say, "Thanks for 61," and just reach out my hand.
This towering figure kneels down. Its hand far exceeds the size of
Yeah, I figure I'm shaking her pinky or something. But...
Yeah. He reaches out his hand, takes yours ever so gently, and shakes it. And it says, "Treat every second you live like that one extra second."
I guess if I send my soul to oblivion, this is probably goodbye. So,
I hope not to see you again.
And yeah, if I do see you again, I really hope it's not for long. No offense. You're a great person. Love the conversation.
I enjoyed it myself. But it is time. Figure motions back to your body.
I'll start walking towards it and just give him a thumbs up as I walk away.
As you walk towards your body, the world, just as before, begins to kind of drip and fade out. The further away it gets, the more gray and bleak things seem to be, until you step right up to your body, and it is just you and it. Leo's hands on the chest, but by the time they reach the elbows, nothing's there. You look back, you don't even see the figure of death anymore. Just a blank, gray void of nothing.
I'll just whisper, "Your name's lost, but that doesn't mean people can't appreciate you." And kind of just sit down, like, I don't know what to do, so I just try to, like, sit into my body.
As soon as you begin moving towards it and touch it, everything burst out in a brilliant white light, and then everything drops to black. And you are conscious, but you cannot hear, you cannot see. You feel yourself. It's hard to call it breathing because it only happens once every few minutes. The only thing that you can hear is the occasional sound of a slow heartbeat pulsing through your ears. And that's where we're going to end.